third-dimensional reality is changing and shifting. For example, the third dimension was once the only reality you had. There was heaven, but that was far away, and you could only get there by dying to your 3D Earth vessel. Now your third-dimensional life is changing because the frequency rate of your current reality is beginning to transmute into the next octave of reality. When you lived on the ship, your core frequency was fifth-dimensional. However, you could move into your fourth-dimensional frequency in order to communicate with the you that had taken a third-dimensional, physical self. It is imperative that more and more of our volunteers to take an Earth vessel are able to expand their consciousness to include their fourth and fifth dimensional consciousness, because it is your state of consciousness that dictates the frequency of the realities that you are able to perceive and experience. You, our volunteers to Earth, have taken a human Earth vessel to assist this society and planet with the process of transmuting from a third/fourth dimension reality into a fifth dimensional reality. This shift is a great challenge, as the third/fourth dimensions of reality have different operating systems from the fifth dimensional realities. The third and fourth dimensional realities have operating systems based on time and space. On the other hand, the fifth dimensional realities have operating systems based on here and now. We, your galactic family, are pleased to see that more and more humans are expanding their consciousness to the threshold between the third/fourth dimensions and fifth dimension. The fifth dimensional operating system of reality is actually an octave leap beyond the third/fourth operating systems. The third and fourth dimensional realities function via the law of cause and effect, whereas the fifth dimensional realities operate via the law of here and now. What is occurring within your now is that there is a consciousness expansion from experiencing the third/fourth dimensions as your primary realities into experiencing your fourth/fifth dimensional consciousness as your primary realities. The difficulty is that the third/fourth dimensional realities have the operating systems of time and space, whereas the fifth dimensional realities have a totally different operating system based on here and now. At first, the difference between the third and fourth dimensional operating system and the fifth dimensional operating system does not appear to be too much of a challenge. At first you will feel the shift between something that has always been, into something that feels totally different. To give just a few examples, with the fifth dimensional now, it does not take time or effort to communicate with the higher frequencies because you know that the higher dimensions are always with you in the here and now. It does not take time to communicate with fifth dimensional beings and beyond. Nor will your third dimensional time change much from the time you accept the higher dimensional transmission into your higher mind. However, it will take time for you to translate that message into third/fourth dimensional words and concepts. Third/fourth dimensional communications prepare you to remember that you are multidimensional. In other words, when you are in a fifth dimensional state of consciousness, you can communicate with many different frequencies of reality within the same now. It is the release from your addiction to third dimensional time that is one of the greatest challenges for our ascending ones. For many incarnations you have lived your lives via the third dimensional operating system in which all reality was separated by time and space. If there is more space, it will take more time to travel from where you are going. However, what if there is no time? If there were no longer time, then how could you experience the space, as it would not take time to go from one space to another? Via this format, many people could accomplish a great deal. That is, they would accomplish a great deal if they can remember how to find the space within their own consciousness to leave time. How does one find the space within their consciousness? The answer is that they leave time. As an example, when you sleep and/or meditate, you no longer live within the world around you. Once you expand your consciousness, even if you only expand it into a fourth dimensional daydream, your inner world will go into a different rate of time than the outer world's rate of time. By the term rate of time, we mean the rating of importance that you put on an experience that seems a bit out of time in comparison to your daily life. For example, one time, Suzil had a very long dream in which a song was playing the entire time. The fourth-dimensional dream seemed to be very long. However, when she awoke, the song on the radio, which usually lasts around 3 minutes, was only halfway over. In third-dimensional waking consciousness, the time of the song was very short. However, while in her fourth-dimensional dream time, the song was only halfway over. In other words, the long dream that accompanied that song only lasted about 1.5 minutes. Most of you have also recognized how, when you love what you are doing, the time flies by. But, when you dislike what you are doing, time crawls. In other words, your experience of time is related, not only to your state of conscious, but to how much you are enjoying that time. When you experience a higher state of consciousness, there is a sense of peace that comes into your physical form. Then, if you can remember how to fall into the feeling of peace, your consciousness will greatly expand. Why does a sense of peace expand your consciousness? Your consciousness expands because your higher dimensional sense of peace lowers your heart rate, relaxes your body, calms your emotions and allows your consciousness to relax into an expanded version of peace and calm. Once you surrender to that experience of peace and calm, your breath automatically gets slower, and the inhales and exhales get longer and longer. Your breath also tells you exactly how you are really feeling. If your breath is quick in and out breaths, it signals to your entire body that there is a call to action. At that point, your focus is no longer on your consciousness. Now you are focused on your third-dimensional body. However, your breath can also be used to reach deeper and deeper levels of relaxation. These deeper and deeper levels of relaxation allow you to take even longer and slower breaths, which make you relax more and more. Please remember that your breath has a great influence on your state of consciousness, your degree of readiness for a new experience, and your ability to control your mind via controlling your breath. A human's breath rate tells that person, as well as others, a great deal about that person. When you are traveling in your consciousness, either via your dreams or your meditations, you are steering your consciousness to more consciously determine your next thoughts and/or actions. When you steer your consciousness, you are able to better remember how to be multidimensional again. After a long run of 3D lives, to just get back to the 4D astral plane is a great joy. The fourth-dimensional astral plane is also a frequency of reality which you visit during your sleep or meditation to debrief what you learned in your latest third-dimensional experience. Shifting realities. Once you begin to consciously and consistently remember, and own, your myriad incarnations, you will remember that there are many sub-levels of every level of reality. This concept of levels and sub-levels of reality intermingling within the now can only be truly understood once one has remembered at least a few of their fifth-dimensional expressions of self. It is very difficult to understand your multidimensional self until you develop a deep relationship with at least a few different frequencies of your reality. We will present the dimensions of these frequencies of reality within this now. The first dimension through the third dimensions, which comprise what is often known as the physical plane, teach you how to live, and thrive, within a reality which is ruled by a consistent, and worldwide concept of the time and space. Once you think of yourself as being your third-dimensional physical body in daily life, you perceive your reality in terms of how much time it will take to get to that place, or to complete that project. The first frequency, or octave, of reality is the first through third-dimensional thoughts, experiences, and emotions. The second frequency of reality is the fourth dimension, in which you learn about the flow of time, and how time is greatly influenced by what you are doing and/or thinking. Your fourth-dimensional octave thinking is often thought of as your imagination, your dreams, and/or your daydreams. This octave of thinking often gives you a slightly different experience of your reality. The third frequency of reality is the fifth dimension, in which you learn that time is an illusion of the lower frequencies, and space is where you are within each now. The fifth dimensional frequency of reality is a transitional octave in which you have to learn a new operating system for that octave of reality. In the first and second octaves of reality, which are the first through fourth dimensions of reality, there is a sensation of time. However, with the third frequency of reality, you move into a higher octave of your experience of reality. It is easy for a third-dimensional member of planet Earth to perceive the first, second, and third frequencies of reality because their daily consciousness is calibrated to consciously perceive that version of reality. Humanity's consciousness is calibrated to perceive the first through the third frequencies of reality with their daily states of consciousness. However, one must be calm, focused and usually creative to experience their fourth dimensional self. We say frequencies rather than dimensions, as each dimension of reality has many sub-dimensions. How many sub-dimensions of the third dimension that one can see depends on their own life. As an example, one who is a farmer, or a gardener, would instantly notice the health of a plant, or any insects that are on the plant. However, one who never chose to garden or farm would most likely look down at the plant. In fact, most of the members of a third dimensions of reality only focus on that which is an important part of what they are doing within that moment. Therefore, a fifth dimensional starship could fly right over their head, and they would not perceive it, as that perception is not calibrated into their daily life as something they would like to experience. On the other hand, most humans focused on their third dimensional reality would notice if a $100 bill was laying on the ground in front of them. In fact, they would most likely reach down immediately and pick it up. They would do this because money has a great deal of value in the first through third dimensions of reality. However, in the fourth dimension of reality, one might stop what they are doing to look around because there is a certain feeling, thought or memory that is activated by an inner feeling, memory, or past experience. They would choose to explore these feelings more deeply, as the intertwining of thoughts and feelings are important to the fourth dimensional octave of reality. Within the fifth dimension of reality, there is a major shift in operating systems, which includes the release of the concept of time that is so important in the lower frequencies of reality. In the first through fourth dimensions of reality, time and space intermingle, and it takes a certain amount of time to travel over a certain amount of space/distance. In the fifth dimension, there is a major shift from the operating systems of time and space into the operating systems of here and now. However, humans can only consciously perceive the fifth dimension when they are in state of consciousness that is higher than is normal for their third dimensional life. It is for this reason that so many humans on Earth do not see our starships. Since many third-dimensional humans still use time and space as a measure of their reality, they do not think in terms of using the different and faster time of their fourth-dimensional consciousness, or the no time of their fifth-dimensional consciousness. However, we are pleased to say that more and more humans are beginning to expand their consciousness, and thus their perceptions, into their fourth-dimensional version of reality. Very often this process begins when the grounded one seeks to have more creativity in their lives, or when they decide to leave the job they hate, and find the job they love. When one spends 5 out of 7 days a week in a certain task, if they dislike that task, they will be unhappy and dissatisfied with their life. On the other hand, if they enjoy the task that they do in order to make money and support their families, they will feel more fulfilled, happier, and be better at work, as well as at home. You see, every task that our grounded ones take has a frequency of operating system. By operating system, we mean the manner in which they interact with their bodies, their brains, their thoughts, and their emotions in order to successfully go through the tasks of their daily lives. If our grounded ones are in constant contact with their multidimensional family on our ships, as more and more are every day, they may miss their galactic family, but the daily contact, as well as the nightly visits home in their night body, are a constant reassurance that they are not alone. Their nightly debriefings help them to understand what they did on Earth, why they did it, and how that experience assisted them to find peace in their 3D life, 4D dreams, and allow them to remember that they can return to their 5D reality. This return to one's 5D reality is different for each person, and most people do not really remember it in their daily life. However, the visit home, even if they cannot remember it in their daily lives, gives them even great comfort, pleasure, and information. Then, when they find a multidimensional friend that they know from the ship, as well as on third-dimensional Earth, there is great joy and camaraderie. We hope that more and more of you can remember your visits home to your fifth-dimensional ship or home world. However, do not be distressed if you do not remember, and your remembrance will likely feel like a dream or a fantasy. Gaia is expanding her frequency, slowly and gradually, so as not to disrupt her planet Earth too much. Just as your human self must make gradual changes to the operating systems of your physical body, Gaia must make gradual changes to the operating systems of her planetary body. Your human operating system, as well as Gaia's planetary operating system, have been based on third-dimensional time and space. However, these third-dimensional operating systems, both on Earth and on the ship, are becoming obsolete. Therefore, please keep your heart and mind open to some changes in Gaia's planetary self and your human